Hey friends, welcome to your yin practice today. For today's practice, I do recommend having a few props. You'll need at least one block and then maybe a blanket. I'm sitting right on the edge of a blanket here. If you don't have a blanket, maybe just a small bolster or a couple of large bath towels that you can use. So for this practice, let's get started in a seated position, and we're going to start with a little bit of acupressure in this class. So once you find your seat, take a moment to sit up nice and tall. And if it's comfortable, you can start to close down your eyes or find a soft gaze. When you arrive on your mat, take a moment to just check in with how you're feeling in this moment. And approaching this with curiosity rather than judgment, so no need to put labels or titles to anything how you're feeling, but rather than just checking in with how you're feeling mentally, physically, emotionally. And just know that there's no right or wrong answer. Give yourself the permission to drop into the space, to reconnect to your body, reconnect to your mat. So starting off with a little bit of acupressure, we're going to start to tap right in between the eyebrows here. And I like to keep my eyes closed for this one so I can really just start to bring my awareness internally and start to tap right in between the eyebrows here. I'm using my index finger and my middle finger there just to find a tapping that's not hard or painful, but you should be able to feel it. And so once you start to find that space between your eyebrows, start to take a few slow, deep breaths, sealing the lips, so you're breathing in and out through the nose. Now, if you feel like your mind is just kind of really restless right now, and you feel like you need to take an open mouth exhale a few times, sigh it out, feel free to do that. And as you continue tapping there, think about clearing the mind, calming the mind, creating some space in the mind for your practice, for internal inquiry as to how you're feeling. And in Chinese medicine, this acupressure point is called yin tong, which is great to help calm a restless mind. Help clear away some cobwebs, perhaps. We'll keep tapping here for a few more breaths. And just think about inviting in some slow, steady, deep breaths. It doesn't have to be anything forceful. Start to slow down that tapping. And then eventually letting your hand rest back into your lap, just take a moment to notice. You can start to open your eyes here, and I'll show you the next acupressure point that we're going to explore. It's called Heart 7. Now, Heart 7 is located on the pinky side of your hand, right on the outer edge of your wrist crease. So if you take the palm side, right on the outer edge of that wrist crease on the pinky side here. So you're going to find a hollow sort of depression spot there. So you're not going to be on bone, but I would like for you to either massage into that point or you can tap with your other two fingers perhaps. You could just let your hand rest down, whatever's comfortable there. Closing your eyes again if that's comfortable. Or just finding a gentle, soft gaze. Tapping or massaging into that heart space. Starting to open up the Heart Meridian channel. And as you stay here with this point, continuing to take a few slow, steady, deep breaths to allow you to settle in a little bit more. Starting to find perhaps a little bit more stillness in the mind. Noticing if any thoughts that is circulating throughout your mind, if any of those thoughts are not serving to you right now, gently push those thoughts to the side and allow your attention to come back to your breath, come back to the practice. Go ahead and start to slow down that tapping. We're going to tap on the other hand here. So again, just finding the outer edge of your wrist crease, same position on the other hand. And if it felt helpful to tap, you can continue to tap on the other side, or you can just start to massage. But again, it should not be on bone, and it's just in this general area here. So acupressure is slightly different from acupuncture. Acupuncture, you're using needles, so you have to be very, very specific. But with acupressure, it can be a little bit more vague. You can explore there. Take a few deep breaths. Start to bring your awareness into your heart space. Bring your awareness to the front of the heart space, the chest area. Noticing if your heart might feel closed off, constricted. Or maybe perhaps you're feeling joyous. Your heart space is open. And again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but just start to internally check in again. Come back to the slow, steady, deep breaths. Let your jaw soften. Let your belly soften. Staying here for a few more extra breaths. And begin to slow down that tapping. And eventually just letting your hands rest back into your lap, sitting up nice and tall, but relaxing the shoulders. And just notice and start to feel that ebb and flow of energy circulating throughout your body. Perhaps that release of any stagnation that maybe you might have been holding on to without noticing it. Start to open your eyes. Let's make our way to a tabletop position. So we're going to come to hands and knees. Your blanket can go out to the side. The block is going to go towards the top of your mat there. We're going to make our way to hands and knees, tabletop. Approximately wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's invite in a few cat and cows here. So on an inhale, start to let your belly lower, arching through your spine, lifting your heart. Take an exhale whenever you're ready. Start to round your spine. Think about bringing your chin down towards your chest. So it's an inhale to pull the heart forward. The spine is going to arch, lifting your gaze. Exhale, rounding your spine, bringing your chin down towards your chest. Go ahead and take a few more cat and cows, but know that there's no rush here. We want to really keep this nice and slow, almost like a moving meditation. There's no rush at all. On your next inhale, find a more neutral tabletop. We're going to do some care for the wrist here. So with your right hand, go ahead and turn your fingertips back towards you. And so the right hand is going to stay forward with the fingertips facing forward, but my right fingertips are going to face me here. Now take a few cat and cows in this position. Again, nice and slow, but now just starting to bring your awareness down into that right forearm, down into the wrist. Notice how that feels in your body. Notice sensation. Your next inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop. Spin your right hand back so your fingertips are facing the front of your mat again. Now we're going to turn both hands so both palms are going to face each other. So it's going to kind of look like this position here where both fingertips are going to face the long edges of your mat here. And you do want to have your stance pretty wide, and you can play with that. But what we're going to do here is just find a gentle sway side to side. Feeling again sensation through the wrist, down the forearms. You don't have to go to your end of your range of motion here, but maybe just finding that edge of your range of motion. Feeling where you may have gone maybe a little too far. Take it nice and slow. And then start to bring your hands back to the center here, so both fingertips are facing towards the front of your mat. Now we're going to spin the left hand so fingertips are facing back towards us. Right fingertips facing to the front of the mat. Let's take a few cat and cows here. And it's just some slow cat and cows again. Noticing if the left forearm and the left wrist has any new sensations that perhaps maybe the right side did not bring up for you today. And again, just approaching this with curiosity rather than judgment. Your next inhale, slowly come back to a neutral tabletop. Left hand is going to spin back towards the front, so left fingertips facing back towards the front. Take a moment just for a few more normal, just regular cat and cows. On your next inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop, and then take a moment just to sit back onto your heels, interlace the fingers, and just give the wrists a nice little rinse here. So it doesn't have to be anything specific, just rolling the wrist around, seeing how that feels in your body. Maybe even shake out the hands, the fingers, anything that's helpful here. All right, now we're going to make our way onto our bellies here. Now, if you have the blanket or bath towels, we're going to place the blanket underneath of our ribs to help support our ribs. So the blanket can be to your thickness. Mine is maybe about, I don't know, an inch or two. It doesn't have to be specific. Just feel what best is, do what feels best in your body. So let's come onto our bellies here. And then the block is going to be, again, towards the top of your mat. Both legs are long down the mat and have some space between the legs. Now we're going to start up onto our forearms here. And just notice at first, before you move any farther, if the blanket is where you would want that support. So mine's just resting right underneath of my upper ribs, a little bit of my belly there. And then we're going to start to slide the left arm underneath the right arm. The right arm is going to kind of cross over here. Now this is where the block can come in handy. So I'm going to rest my forehead just right down on that block. So think about the arms crossing out to a T. Forehead is rested down on the block, and you can play with the height there as well. So depending on your body structure, it might need to be on the lowest setting, medium, or tallest setting. You decide. We won't be here too long, but do take a few moments to really settle in. And as you do that, start to feel the upper back broadening, the shoulder blades separating, feeling that space right in between the shoulder blades. Relaxing down the back of your legs. So notice if you might be gripping through the legs or even gripping through the glutes. Letting the entire backside of the body relax. Breathe. Relax your jaw. Slowly, we're going to start to unwind from this. So lifting the head and just starting to uncross the arms. Bring your forearms down to the mat for Sphinx pose. We'll be here just briefly for Sphinx pose. Take a few deep breaths. And now let's go ahead and do the other side. So right arm is going to reach underneath the left and find that crossing of the arms. Let your forehead rest down. And you might notice that one side might feel a little different than the other side. So I actually need to adjust my block height on this side. So that's okay to allow the body to, or meet yourself where your body's at here in this moment. So make any adjustments that you might need. Coming right into your shape here. And just perhaps you're noticing sensations, the differences on both sides. On both sides meaning how the arms were crossed. Maybe one side felt a little tighter than the other side, and we're just checking in here. No need to overanalyze or overthink. And just allowing your body and mind to find some stillness. Take a few more deep breaths here. And then slowly starting to lift the head, unraveling the arms, place one forearm down at a time. Come back to that Sphinx position here. Take a few deep breaths, feeling the heart space stretching forward. Take a deep inhale here, and then your next exhale, letting the body come down towards the mat here. You can still be up on that blanket, but just take a moment to let your forehead rest down on your mat or on top of your hands, finding a gentle crocodile position here. Relaxing the entire backside of the body. And then slowly making our way back up to our forearms. Now we're going to keep the blanket right where it's at. You might need to make the blanket a little bit more of a tighter roll here. And we're just going to place it right underneath of the ribs again. So find a little bit of lift under the ribs and under the heart space. And then allowing the legs again to just be really long and heavy down your mat. When you find yourself in the shape here that works best in your body, we're going to slowly start to bend the right knee. Reach your right hand back towards your right ankle here. And so this is half bow pose. You're more than welcome to stay right here if this is enough sensation for you and enough range of motion for you. Perhaps you want to take this a little bit further, maybe bend the left knee and reach your left hand for the left ankle. And just finding a gentle stretch here through the pecs, through the arms, perhaps even into the armpits. And rather than having this shape be more active and pushing the ankles into the hands, you can let the legs relax a little bit more. Letting the arms and the chest and the pecs do most of the work. So think about letting that heart space reach forward. Notice your breath. We won't be here too long. Take a few deep breaths. Slowly start to release your right hand from your ankle. Bring your right forearm to the mat. Let that right leg be long. Slowly release your left hand from your left ankle. Come back to this elevated Sphinx pose. Hands are going to come underneath the shoulders, nice and slow up into tabletop. Let's take an exhale for just a brief child's pose. Maybe your blanket even stays where it's at and you can let your forehead rest down. Let your arms rest down. So take any variation of child's pose that you would like. I always like to have my feet together. Well, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time I like to have my feet together, my knees wide apart. Letting that space sink down. And just take a few deep breaths here. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up to a tabletop, just briefly enough to where we can move our blanket out of the way. Make your way onto your back. When you make your way onto your back, take a moment to keep your knees hugged in towards your chest. Perhaps a gentle sway side to side. You can even wrap your hands around your knees and find a nice circling motion here for the knees. And then we're going to plant both feet down towards the mat. Inhale, hug your right knee in towards the chest. Exhale, let that left leg be long down the mat. With the left hand wrapped around the right knee, we're going to pull that right knee over towards the left side, finding just a gentle twist. Right arm, it can extend out to the right side or cactus that right arm. And then perhaps maybe even turn your head over towards the right. Finding a position that's comfortable for you. If you have that blanket or a towel, maybe you even want it hiked underneath the right shoulder. But allowing this shape to be passive and just trying to allow this shape to be not forceful here. Think about little effort. Take a few deep breaths. Feel how your breath lands in your body in this shape. Take a deep inhale here. And your next exhale, slowly rolling onto your back. Hug both of your knees in towards the chest. There's no rush here. Feel free to take as much time as you need to in between these transitions. Let both feet come down towards your mat. Inhale, hug your left knee in. And exhale, extend your right leg long down the mat. Now with your right hand wrapped around your left knee, gently pull that left knee over towards the right side. And again, maybe perhaps left arm comes out to a T or up into that cactus shape. Find any variation that works best in your body on this side. And maybe even perhaps you turn the head and look over to your left arm. Immediately coming back to the breath, staying with your practice. Leaning the back side of the body in towards the mat. So even though part of the spine might not be resting on the mat, feel the spine just sort of drop back, This no effort feeling, letting gravity take over in certain spaces of your body. And then we'll stay here in stillness for a few extra breaths. Take a deep inhale here. And on your next exhale, slowly rolling onto your back. Again, perhaps you hug your knees in towards the chest and a gentle sway side to side if that felt helpful. Allow your feet to plant on your mat, allowing your legs to start to stretch long. Widen your legs. Let your arms come wide out to your side. Feel free to start to take up space as you settle into a nice Shavasana here. Head rest heavily against your mat. The entire back side of the body is supported by the earth. And let your awareness draw to your heart space. And just notice how your heart space feels after the practice. And give yourself permission to linger in your Shavasana. Give yourself the permission to just stay, be still, and notice. Feel free to stay here for as long as you would like. This is where I close out the practice with you. So until next time, Namaste.